laughter, hard work, and romance. Of course, there are some incidents we'd rather forget, and ones that will remain embedded in our minds for years to come. Each year, our year group stopped at the bus stop, one in first year, second year, third year, and so on. My classmate Shauna will elaborate on the moment we embarked on our journey.
We boarded the TCS bus in August 2007 as a bunch of scared little first years. As Mr. Coffey would often tell us, we had gone from being the big fish in the small pond to the small fish in the big pond. Our seal bags were nearly as big as we were, and for the first few weeks no one would dare use their lockers for fear of getting their book and being given out to by the big scary person at the top of the room. It didn't take us long to settle in though, and before we knew it, we had moved along our journey to second year.
Shortly after that, we arrived at our second stop. There was some comical and embarrassing incidents that I still remember to this day, to the dismay of some and to the delight of others. One of which I was involved in. So, for example, on that infamous day when love did not shine upon me, I was a young, innocent second-year boy in Miss Broken's Irish class, doing classwork, and suddenly, without warning, nature called. And when she calls, you either take heed or suffer the consequences. I walked into the only bathroom in the school at the time, and unfortunately, there was no tissue. Nature did not care about this and resisted my protest to go back to class. I asked Simon, our caretaker at the time, to aid me in my time of need. He said he would help, and he left. I had two choices. Go home with clean trousers or go home with dirty trousers. So I chose the first option. I waited and waited for help, occasionally saying, hello, hello. After waiting for what seemed like an eternity, Connor Kelly walked in and found out I was inside. Then he laughed and left me there. Eventually, Miss Ray found me and asked Simon to restore the toilet supplies. Sure, it's funny now, but it was very traumatic at the time. All I can say is you can't find nature and it happens to us all. Mine was just made public.
Third year began and when it came to junior cert. Even with the exams, we still managed to have some good times in third year. The trips out, table quizzes, and of course our annual cake. Long Gaelic takes place in TCS every year, and although there's many people who love to hate it, nothing like the atmosphere in school on today, especially when the drawing comes on. Secondary school life obviously comes with exams. These exams can only be described as bumpy rides that made us nauseous and roundabouts that made us dizzy. But we pulled through and reaped the rewards. Hopefully the same can be said in August when we get our results. By the end of third year, we couldn't wait to get the exams out of the way and finally get into our Navy jumpers. As soon as we got those Navy jumpers on us, we figured out, some later than others, that we were getting more mature and being held responsible for our actions, which meant the excuses we used in previous years didn't work in senior side. In retrospect, it's ironic that when we were younger, we were eager to become teenagers. And now that we're teenagers, we would like to go back to the days when the only hard decision was picking which crayon or colouring pencil to use. We had some departures along the way of well-respected members of staff, people such as Mr. Maloney, Mr. Coffey, Mr. Hanratty, Mr. McCulgan, Mr. O'Leary, Simon our former caretaker, and Father Paul, who all created a cheerful atmosphere within the school. We also felt a gap in our ranks with the departure of some of our own classmates, some of whom are here today to celebrate with us.
We soon arrived at our fourth stop. We got the bus spray painted navy. Over the years, our year group greatly represented school musicals from back to the 80s to Hairspray to Tallaway. Our students included Leeds, the dancers, and the workers backstage. They also participated in the TCS factor and entertained the crowd with a variety of different acts, such as the time Brian Dorr and Dwayne Wellstead took centre stage. Our year group's basketball team received prestigious awards. We became Dublin champions for the third time in a row. We also made it to 2 All-Ireland finals in the basketball arena. We were greatly supported by the school, which nearly spurred us on to victory. The level-headed Mr. Grimes knew the importance of the occasion and inspired us to do what we can best we can. Although we narrowly lost by a point in both All-Ireland finals in 4th and 5th year, we walked off the court with our heads held high. pleasure to play alongside Gavin Murray, Lee Finnegan, Connor Stewart. We would like to thank Mr. Grimes for all his efforts, hard work, and giving us insights into developing good character on and off the court. At the end of fourth year, some of us went on a trip to Italy. It was a great experience, and we really bonded as a year group. Everyone enjoyed themselves, including the teachers.
Fifth year came and it was back down to work. TY is over, it's time to settle down, was all that could be heard in every class. In an attempt to improve their Irish, the higher level class travelled to the Belfast and Guidor with some of last year's fixtures. It was here that they created lasting memories of Adam Lyons' in-betweeners dance, Gavin Hickey's breakdancing, and Samuel and Shelley's beautiful romance beneath the stars of Donegal. Fifth year was also a year in which science played a big part. With Holly Tyrrell, Tasha McCauley, and Lorna Hayden representing the skill as BT and scientists. The girls worked very hard on the project, spending many Wednesday afternoons working hard at discipline and integrity. Their hard work paid off with Holly's project on Alzheimer's disease, placing second in her category, and Lorna and Natasha's project on an age-old maths problem going on to compete in SciFest along with my own about mental health awareness. Both projects placed first in their individual categories. As fifth year came to an end, we encountered a problem. Our poor TCS bus broke down, and unfortunately Miss Ray departed. We had Miss Ray as a year ahead for 5 years, and during that time she had a lot to deal with. From fighting our corner in the staff room, to always having an open door when any of us had a problem. She always did her best for us, and for that we could never thank her enough.
In sixth year, our bus broke down due to Miss Ray's departure. Miss Green came on board and fixed it. Once again, we continued our journey, but this time with a new year ahead in the driver's seat. At first, Miss Green was strict and apprehensive, her words not mine. We soon learned the way to our hearts through chocolate. As members of Miss Green's Irish class, we noticed her sweet tooth fairly quickly. At our Croco Co-Rock, we drank tea, ate more than our weight in chocolate, and spoke Irish, of course. 2013 was a good year for sport. The football and rugby teams achieved some success in many respects. Both teams consisted of 8 players and friends who represented the school incredibly well. This led to a successful season for both teams, and the rugby team made it to the South Dublin Cup final. They narrowly lost, but we accepted defeat gracefully. Special thanks goes to Mr. Keane, Mr. Ryan and Mr. Young for their dedication to the cause and devotion to their teams. Some funny moments helped us through this last stressful year. Things like random questions from our own Aidan Kelly, which baffles teachers and students alike. For example, a sheep fell into a river, would it float because of all the wool around it, or would it sink? And also facts like, did you know that a left-handed person can die from using right-handed scissors? Also, Mr. Worski's jokes about disadvantaged areas. According to him, the definition of confusion is fattest day in Ballymun. The time Mr. Grimes' phone rang and his ringtone was, "Everybody dance now." His daily tales of unforeseen events, such as a fight between a squirrel and a badger on his way to work, ensured the class was consumed with laughter on a regular basis. The time Lee Finnegan ripped his shorts picking up a piece of paper, and all that could be seen was race car boxers. The amount of times Natasha fell is 20 times the average person. These will be some of the things we'll all miss at the end of the year. Alas, our journey has come to an end, and we have all departed at our 6th stop, and we are going our separate ways. We would like to wish everyone the very best of luck in their exams, and look forward to seeing everyone once again at the depths.
And last, but certainly not least, we would like to say a big thank you to all of our teachers for their help over the last 6 years. There was never a time when a teacher wouldn't do something to help. And their time spent after school hours with extra classes, more often than not, anything we needed, we got it. We would also like to express our gratitude to Mr. Knoxon and Ms. Hennessy for opening the school to us 6 years every school break we got this year. Although we complained and did not know the value of this at the time, we are immensely grateful for it. Thank you all for listening to Samuel and myself, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
sector